Hi, here with another edition of Saturday Morning Cheap Seats, not from a car this time, because over the last 2 weeks I didn't get really to see a lot of movies in the theater. I saw one, and that was 2 weeks ago. Um, just things came up, didn't get to see as much as I normally. I usually go to a movie every Saturday. Things came up this past Saturday. I was going to go see Phoenix Forgotten. The weather was so bad over here, I didn't feel like paying $6 to see a movie, only to hear lightning crashing and thunder and crashing the whole time. It would have ruined the experience. I heard the movie sucked anyway, but the week before that, I saw a film that I feel I should talk about because it failed so miserably. And it's like, I think I'm one of the only people that saw it. The movie was called Free Fire. Now, Free Fire, when I last checked, the movie had a budget of $10 million. It cost $10 million to make this movie. And when I last checked, the movie had not even made $1 million back. At the screening I was at, there was 5 people there, including me. Well, 6 if you count the guy working in the theater. And one of those people walked out during during the show. And by the next week, every screening except for one had been pulled for Free Fire. Free Fire was not a very good movie. Now, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't anything where I'm going to sit here and throw my hands in the air. Not like, a good example, not like Allegiant, which is, oh god, that's horrendously bad. Or like, I don't know, some of those straight-to-Netflix Adam Sandler films. The Free Fire wasn't that bad. It's the perfect example of, you see a movie, it's got a good idea. It had a great cast. Brie Larson, an Academy, I think she won an Academy Award for The Room. I'm not sure if she won it or not, but I know she was nominated for, well, not The Room, Room. The Room. We'll do that another time. So many people have talked about The Room. I feel like I'd be doing it a disservice. But Brie Larson is a really good actress. Cillian Murphy is in this movie, and I really like Cillian Murphy, especially in the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. Also, Armie Hammer was in it. Now, a lot of people don't know who Armie Hammer is. Armie Hammer was with Henry Cavill in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., a really underrated film from last year. Almost made my top 10 list. Loved it. And in the not-so-well-received Lone Ranger film by Gore Verbinski and Johnny Depp that came out a couple years ago, he played the Lone Ranger. One thing people said about that was that at least Armie Hammer was good in that. So you have a cast of people, and on all levels, this movie should have worked. For an 87-minute movie, oh my god, it felt like it went on forever. I almost never fall asleep in a movie theater, because I don't like to spend my money to fall asleep. I fell asleep twice. One of those times was for at least 3 minutes, because when I woke up, I didn't realize what was going on the screen. All it was people just saying nonsense to each other and shooting at each other for an hour and a half. Now, had somebody like a Tarantino directed this film, and you can tell that the director of this film watched Reservoir Dogs 1,000 times and thought he was going to recreate the same magic. Didn't fucking work! Reservoir Dogs is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. It rarely works, that kind of thing. But Quentin Tarantino knows how to point a fucking camera. He knows how to write a fucking script. Free Fire is a perfect example of a movie that makes me mad, not because the movie was so bad, but because the directing was so bad. You took a script that could have worked, actors that should have worked together, and the movie just didn't work for me. I don't know if any of you saw, I don't know, I personally don't know one single person that actually saw Free Fire. It's one of those when it goes for $5 at Walmart in the $5 bin, which, oddly enough, the Walmart that I go to, the $5 bin, the movies are always like $3.74, so I'd pay that just to have it in collection so I could show it to people and go, you gotta check this fucking movie out, it's terrible. Well, not terrible, but terribly done, terribly executed, terribly directed. The ending made no sense at all. I don't want to spoil it, because just in case people do go see it, because there are still theaters around here showing it. So I don't think I should really spoil the film. It's really it's a big arms deal that just goes horrendously wrong over a really small incident that I think 2 professional, like even organized crime units, the 2 would have taken the 2 guys who got into the argument, and they would have each taken their own guy out and beat the shit out of him and came back in, because they don't give a fuck if their guy is pissed off. They're there to make money. They're organized crime organizations. They could give a shit less if their fucking friends' feelings are hurt. So, Free Fire is a movie that I know don't go see it in the theater. No. Worth a rental because somebody might get something out of it that I personally didn't. I just found it dull. Like, I can't say I hated it because I didn't hate it, but there was just so little there to talk about. When I came home and my wife asked, she's like, "How was it?" I was like, "I don't know if I know." It was, I couldn't get raging pissed off about it. I mean, but you take a group of really talented actors, and some of the people who worked on the film were talented and people, and it still didn't work. So that's my. I do the Saturday morning cheap seat from inside my house because didn't feel like filming in the car that day. I just wanted to come home and get in my pajamas and watch some X-Files. Because we're going through every season of X-Files right now, and we're halfway through season 8, so we're almost done. So, since that was so short, I'm going to do 2 little bonus things onto this video. I know I keep saying I'm going to review Passengers, but I actually have rewatched that film. There's going to be a lot to say there. I might have to break that down into 2 videos, so that's going to be something that's going to come down the road. First of all, I want to talk about the movie Popstar. I watched this. I had seen the movie had been in theaters. It was in my theater for like 2 weeks last summer, and I didn't get a chance to see it. It just was one of those. It came around when a lot of other really good movies. I think it came around the same time as like Civil War. It was something like that. Some big epic like superhero film was playing. So of course I didn't get to go out and go see it. But I'm a fan of The Lonely Island. Now, if you're not a fan of Lonely Island, don't see Popstar because it's entirely that sense of humor. I, for one, absolutely loved Popstar. I thought the whole movie, from the way it was presented, the trailers and all that, I thought it was just going to be a movie making fun of Justin Bieber for an hour and a half. And that would get old after about 25 minutes, because there's a lot to make fun of there, but like, after so long, you'd be like, okay, come on, give the dude a break. That's not what the movie is, at all. It kind of lampoons all pop bands and boy bands and people who are like, you know, one-hit wonders, or people who are famous for a brief period of time and then have to deal with not being famous anymore. So, it stars all the Lonely Island guys, Andy Samberg and the other 2 guys, Akiva, whatever his name is, and other dude. The guys that did Dick in a Box and those wonderful songs. As far as Lonely Island goes, I only own their first 2 albums, and that's just because I've never gotten around to buying the 3rd one. And I like about half of each record. There's too much filler that's kind of eh, but their good songs are great. Like We're Back, that's one of my favorite Lonely Island songs. There's a lot of Lonely Island humor in Popstar. The opening minute of the film, I was crying, I was laughing so hard. It was so funny. It shows them like as teenagers at a talent show. And this talent show is obviously for their whole little town where they live in. So there's kids there and everything, and every other word out of their mouth is fuck this and fuck that. And they're doing this, trying to act like gangster rappers, but they're the 3 whitest people you'd ever meet. So it works because it's funny. And the movie gets celebrities to poke fun at themselves. Like, the guy sings a song about how humble he is, but of course, in singing a song about how humble he is, it shows he's not humble. And it cuts to Mariah Carey. And Mariah Carey's like, I could really relate to this song because I'm the most humble person I know, right? Right? Like, alright, I've heard she's kind of a bitch, but I give it up to Mariah Carey if you're able to make fun of herself like that. Justin Timberlake plays a small role in the film, one of the funniest roles of the movie. As opposed to Free Fire, that I don't really recommend you spend your money on it, I highly recommend going and picking up Popstar. Loved it from beginning to end. Even the dumb jokes work because they worked in that moment. Sometimes stupid humor, like anti-humor, like Eric Andre and the Tim and Eric's Awesome Show, that kind of stuff, I don't like that. You know, it gets on my nerves. But sometimes it can work. And Popstar is when really good anti-humor can work. So, how long have I been recording here now? I can't, oh my god, it's not even telling me. Got this really nice camera and like the thing just went away to tell me how long the video's been recording for. You stupid piece of shit camera. Fuck you, camera. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about real quick and then I'm going to end the video. Hope next week you are going to see a Saturday morning cheap seats. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is next week. Definitely be doing a review on Guardians of the Galaxy 2. People are in the area. We're going to be seeing the earliest possible showing on Saturday morning. Come join us. If you can fit in the car, we'll have a bunch of people talk about it. It'll be great. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot to talk about there. Early reviews coming in for Guardians are saying it's good. It just doesn't have the charm of the first one. But I believe that's because nobody expected charm from the first one and they got it. everybody was blown away by the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie because it was like, whoa, this should not be this good. And then it was. I rewatched it yesterday. We were just laying around bored. I was a little hungover. And we were bored, and like, oh, let's watch Guardians of the Galaxy. I must have seen that movie fucking 20 times. I don't know how many times I've seen it. Love it every time I see it. So, I'm going to end this with just a little quick thoughts thing, just to add some content to the video, just so it's not just me, hey, I'm sure you get bored of my voice. Get out, dog! But, everybody's talking about their favorite movies all time, favorite movie quotes, favorite movie this, that, actor, that. I thought a fun little thing to do would be talk about my 2 favorite film endings of all time. Now, these are not my 2 favorite movies. In fact, neither one of these films even crack my top 25 favorite films of all time list. And I have my own personal reasons for why these are my 2 favorite endings to a movie ever. And yes, I know there are better produced endings. I know people are going to have their opinions. Share them in the comments. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I mean, I'm saying my personal, and I'm not saying the best. My personal favorites endings to movies. Tell me yours. We'll talk about it. I like talk. You know what's funny about I do these videos, and then I get emails. No, comment. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. I love talking to people about movies. I wish I could do like a podcast. A friend of mine, Tom, once brought up me being on his podcast. You should listen. I've listened to a couple episodes. The Negative One podcast. It's a good podcast. You should check it out. I would love to talk to those guys about movies. Sorry for half-assed plug there for you guys, but I can't remember exactly where to find it. So just look up the Negative One podcast, you'll find it. So here's my 2 favorite endings to a film ever. First, the first Iron Man movie. Because that's not how you end a superhero movie. The guy never gives away his identity at the end of the movie. Are you crazy? And then he did. And it so worked. When Tony Stark is looking at those cards and they have the whole thing play it out for him, this is what you're supposed to say, here's what happened, and then the girl brings up the superhero, and he's like, I never said I was a superhero. She's like, well, I never said you were a superhero. He's like, oh, yeah, because that would be this and that, and it would be incredible. And he just looks at the notes and goes, well, the truth is I am Iron Man. And just everybody jumps up, the Iron Man by Black Sabbath song comes on, credits roll. I love the end of that movie. I've never been so amped to see a sequel as I was at the end of that movie. When he just says, I am Iron Man, and puts the cards down, you're like, oh, that's so cool! Like, everybody knows now that Tony Stark is Iron Man. And I love Phil Coulson in the background, just like, son of a bitch. So, Iron Man 1 is one of my 2 favorite endings to a film. Now, while I do thoroughly love Iron Man 1, I might review the Iron Man films sometimes, because I have a different take on the Iron Man. Everybody likes them in order. People say 1 was the best, 2 was good, and then 3 was the worst. I thought 3 was better than 2, but for personal reasons. I liked that it was more of a Tony Stark film than an Iron Man film. I liked Iron Man 3 more than I liked Iron Man 2, but I still like all 3 of them. The next, my favorite ending to a film is a film that actually I've noticed in recent years has been getting more and more backlash against this series. And they're not perfect films, and I'm talking about the Pirates of the Caribbean films. I like all 4 movies. In fact, the 4th one, what was that one called, On Stranger Tides? The one with the Blackbeard and all that? That's a movie, the first time I saw it, I didn't care for it, but the more I watch it, I was like, this is not bad. It doesn't feel like the first 3, but I actually think it kind of is a little better than the 3rd one. But anyway, for some reason, everybody loves the first Pirates, the Curse of the Black Pearl, which is a great movie. I love that movie. That one might actually crack my top 25 favorite list. I really like Black Pearl. But I've noticed that all of the Pirates sequels are just being trashed by critics, and even people who I know personally told me back in the day they liked them, come back now like, I'm not so sure about that movie. Oh, come on. Turn your brain off and enjoy a movie about pirates and ghosts. The second one, Dead Man's Chest. We know that we're going to get a part 3 because the way this movie's winding down, we're at Tia Dalma's house, and when she goes, they say, if we could get him back, and she said, would you? Would any of you go do anything to get him back? And they all raise their glasses like, I would. Yeah, fuck yeah, let's go get Jack back. And she goes, okay, you will need a pirate who has sailed those waters before. And you just hear the thump, 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 thump. And it's Barbossa, and he says, now tell me, What's become of my ship? Takes a bite out of the apple and just laughs maniacally, and the monkey jumps up in the camera. End. I can't really put my finger on it. That movie got me. I didn't see that coming, and when I jumped up like, how the fuck is he still alive? We watched you die. I watched you die, and he's still alive. So I love the ending to that movie because I've not seen a movie that made me want to see the sequel that much. I mean, there are runners up to that, like of the Back to the Future films, Part 2 is my least favorite, but I love all three. But Part 2 has the best end. Part 2 has that great ending. He's in the Wild West, but he's alive, you know, and he goes crazy, and then we hear the to be concluded. So, I'm sure I could sit here and name great endings to movies all day, but I just figured I'd share that since I had 2 really short reviews for movies, and I wanted to put something up this week just so people could see my wonderful, beautiful face. Oh, and I swore that you may want to turn this off now if you don't want to see me without a shirt on, because I might make you vomit. But I gotta show off my new tattoo, and I'm gonna do it now. So, pardon me for a second here. I gotta show off this wonderful tattoo I got. See that? Yeah. My friend Melissa did that for me. Melissa Reed at Hybrid Image Tattoo on Vine Street, Clifton, Ohio. Go check them out. Of all my, like I've mentioned in a video before, all my really good tattoo work, my little Caesar guy, my Red Dead Redemption tattoo, my fucked up looking fucking dragon fucking guy thing, and the Odd Parents, Fairly Odd Parents. Yeah, she did that one too, and she did some over here, but oh well. Alright, well that's the end of this. I'm going to be back with you next weekend for Guardians of the Galaxy. Hell's yeah. Bye.